So, a person I chose to do was Kerry James Marshall. He was born 1955 in Birmingham, Alabama. Um, there's a lot of interesting things in his life, so it's kind of hard to just pinpoint one. So, I'm going to talk about a few. So, when he was 8 years old, he said that he lived through the JFK assassination, and then 2 years later, the riots happened. And by the late 60s, he was seeing shootouts happening between the LAPD and the Black Panthers. And honestly, I think that political strife and all that violence that he grew up with really affected his art. He said he was making art all of his life. That was just his calling. That's something he's always wanted to do. And I think that's really cool that he took something so negative, like racism and everything, and made it into something beautiful. And he's actually not a sculptor. This is why I picked him. I thought it was really cool. Like, I love sculpting. I love that people, I love carvings, or the models. I really just love that. But I think it's really cool that he's mainly a drawer. He paints, he draws. So this installation that he did, with the church was like something that's kind of out of his comfort zone, something that we don't normally see from him. So I thought that was interesting. So with him in the church, they wanted to replace the Robert E. Lee and Stonewall stained glass artwork, that has like a racist past, that was a Confederate flag. And I think Kerry was a really good person to collaborate with this because he's a symbol of progressiveness, and he wanted him in the church wanted to show that, like, hey, like, this is not who we are anymore. So I think it's cool that he kind of just assembled, like, he worked with the stained glass artist and assembled this piece, and they used these bright colors, and they really thought about how the light would shine through. And it was the first black mayor in Chicago. Fairness and not no foul play. He really wanted to convey that. That's just something that he stood for. Especially everything he grew up with. So they assembled just certain pieces. We're used to when we see stained glass art, they have all these little fragments, but he wanted something really cohesive, and like really big. So there's not as many fragments that he does. So they assembled those together, and then he hand painted, on the glass, which I think is really cool. So when the light comes in, it's just a lot brighter. It's a lot, like, you can see everything. He used, what did he say? He used anonymous people because we're so used to using celebrities as a focal point. And he wanted to see, like, hey, everyday people, we're the ones putting in this work, we're the one changing justice, we're the ones that want this fair play and want this equality. So I think that was really amazing of him to do, and especially, again, that he's not someone that does like installation, especially like this, or sculpting. So that is what I talked about.